Let's take you back to Ntuzuma in KwaZulu-Natal this morning, where a crowd is gathering at the site of a collapsed bridge where a motorist has died. Karinda Jagmohan joins us from there with the latest this morning. Karinda, you've been there all morning, and it does appear that the community is really sort of speaking out more in the wake, especially of this motorist having died there.
Definitely, the community's frustration is growing. Michelle, before we speak to the eThekwini municipality's chairperson for human settlements and infrastructure, I want to tell you that the father of 26-year-old Olo Kumalo is here, and we will speak to him at 11 o'clock. Her sister is also here. She passed away right here. But Mr. Themba Mvubu, you are, of course, a lot of questions are being raised to you because you are the chairperson of eThekwini's human settlements and infrastructure, but you say that this bridge is handled by the Department of Transport. Tell us about, you've been in this position for 3 weeks now, right?
Yeah,
but what is the conversation so far about infrastructure with DOT?
Well, look, the moment we heard that there was this incident which happened in the late hours of yesterday, we then drove and came here to see for ourselves, because the understanding is that anything that's got to do with the infrastructure, it falls within our committee. Then when we arrived here, we saw that the car was on that side, and then subsequent to that, I then phoned the officials of eThekwini to ask for an assistance, of which they did, I must be honest. They were so prompt in their response, and I was able to get people from roads, because the concern that I also had was that was the place of the road barricaded properly. So they said to me, yes, Chairperson, it was barricaded after the April floods. But as you may know, this was like a long time ago, in fact. It's almost a year now. So then they decided that they are going to come and reinforce yesterday, of which they did. However, I wanted to find out the process, because I know now that the 1.5 billion that was committed by the president of the country, Mr. Ramaphosa, was only released, if I'm not mistaken, about last week. So I wanted to find out if this 1.5, this road rather, is actually part of that budget. This is going to be catered for. And then the official says to me, Chairperson, let me just go and double check, because I have a belief or a feeling that this road does not fall under the jurisdiction or maintenance of eThekwini municipality. And then they did exactly that. And then they came back to say to me, unfortunately, Chairperson, this does not form part of this 1.5 billion allocation, which was released for the disaster to deal with the issues of roads and the infrastructure here in eThekwini. So we can confirm now that this does not actually fall under eThekwini municipality, but it is under the province of KwaZulu-Natal, the DOT, Department of Transport.
So this bridge then must be rebuilt by the Department of Transport. But what has been eThekwini's conversation with Transport to fast-track this? It's been a year, sir, and this bridge is still like this.
Exactly. I mean, when you speak to the official, you get a sense of frustration. Because, you know, for an ordinary person who lives in eThekwini, they really don't know how to differentiate. And it really doesn't bother them. They are not interested in that, whether this road is under the maintenance or it's supposed to be maintained by the Department of KZN, DOT, or is it under national. They are not interested in that. All that they see is that there is a road nearby my house. It needs to be fixed. It's been damaged for a very long time. So then I asked the official, what are the arrangement that you have with the DOT or the KZN province with regards to this? Can you enter into a memorandum of understanding or agreement to say that all the roads that are within the jurisdiction of eThekwini, you will be able to fix them, provided that they are going to reimburse you? Because if then we just go as a eThekwini municipality to fix them without having that kind of memorandum of understanding or agreement, then the Auditor General will come back and say, we are spending on unfunded mandates. So that is the frustration that I'm getting. So I then said to them yesterday, they must just expedite the process to make sure that all the roads that were damaged during the April floods, which are under the boundaries and the jurisdiction of eThekwini, they must make sure that they sit down with the people of it's either the province or national to say, we have a frustration because when you go to communities, they are not interested. They don't want to know whether the road is under the province or is under national. All that they want and that they had was that there is a money that is going to be released from National Treasury, which is going to deal with all the infrastructural damages that's happened under eThekwini. So that is where we are at the moment. But I pleaded with the officials yesterday to say, please make sure that you speak with these people and tell them this. I mean, it can't be, Jack. You will agree with me. It was April last year. And then it was declared as the state of disaster by the sitting president. I mean, even this 1.5 that has been allocated to eThekwini municipality, it was only released last week. You call it a state of disaster a year ago, but you are only releasing the funds that are going to be able to deal with all the challenges. I mean, almost a year later. It doesn't make sense.
Sir, you know, it seems like the seemingly lack of communication by the municipality to the provincial government is frustrating the officials that are bearing these offices and the duty to ensure that citizens have their infrastructure, their services.
Yes.
Tell me, just if you can highlight this experience, because it seems like you are, it's falling on deaf ears for you when you go to provincial government.
Well, look, as I said, we just been elected to this responsibility about 3 weeks ago. So we had to hit the ground running. That is why we're here up until the late hours of the evening yesterday to ensure that we assist with whatever means that we may have, you know, even after I have understood that this road does not fall under eThekwini municipality. But I have been getting briefings with the officials, especially the one from engineering side, to say the frustration that we are faced with is that there seems to be no sense of agency. I think maybe part of the reason because they have that snail pace is because when people are protesting, when people are complaining about the infrastructural damages and the service delivery, they hardly go to the provincial legislature. Everything that's happened here, they go to the municipal chambers, municipalities. So there is no sense of agency because really, yes, they are mandated to deal with these issues, but it really doesn't affect them on a day-to-day basis. Because if people of Ntuzuma are going to take to the streets and say we are tired of this, many more people are going to lose their lives because this is still not fixed. They are not going to take it to the provincial legislature because, one, they have no understanding. They understand that the road is within eThekwini municipality boundaries, therefore the municipality of eThekwini must be able to take care of this, must be able to fix this fast. So that is the frustration that we are faced with. But we are not going to get tired. As you know, the EFF now is responsible for that committee. It's not going to be business as usual. We can assure you this. It's not going to be business as usual. We are not here to make friends. We are not bored. That we assume those responsibilities. We want to make sure that there is efficient and effective service delivery. And we are happy that now we are responsible for that committee, which is actually responsible for dealing with so many issues that speak to service delivery, so that we'll be able to demonstrate where we are given an opportunity, how do we deal with issues.
Certainly, sir. People are looking at the municipality and the government to fix their issues. And while we just wrap up this interview, been in this position 3 weeks, we're a year on after the floods. What's your view on the state of Durban's infrastructure a year later?
Well, look, it's unacceptable. As I said, it can't be. You say it's a state of disaster, but for the funds that you are releasing so that people are able to deal with these issues, these are frustrating because transport is not able to move here. You know, people are not able to go to work properly. And they now have to resort to other bus stops so that they can use these pathways. And it's not safe for them. So it is very frustrating. So at the end of the day, we are going to do everything in our power so that we hold those responsible accountable. But we are happy that we are given this responsibility so that we'll bring more new energy so that we are able to respond on these issues on time. Thank you very much.
Certainly. Thank you very much for speaking to us. We'll be watching out for that. Mr. Bhekithemba Mvubu, he is the chairperson of eThekwini's Human Settlements and Infrastructure Department, and he says that the responsibility of rebuilding this infrastructure falls upon the provincial government. That's the department Department of Transport. We'll also look out to see what they have to say, not just about this, but as we hear Mr. Mvubu saying, it's really the state of infrastructure across eThekwini having been damaged from the April floods, with many parts of the city not being rebuilt, although some roads, some highways have been rebuilt, and there is work on the ground, not necessarily everywhere. This is one of these examples, and please stay with us, because in a moment I will also bring an interview with the father of the 26-year-old woman who passed away here.
Heartbreaking story. Karinda Jagmohan has it covered from all angles.